You may not have heard of deaf culture before, but the celebration of language, identity, and social interaction is alive and well in Canada. And with the new Deaf Culture Centre in Toronto, it offers a place for all to mingle and learn. You're likely familiar with sign language used by people who are deaf, but for the deaf community, signing is more than just a language, it's a way of life. Sign language is also at the heart of Toronto's new Deaf Culture Centre, a first in Canada, and it's everywhere, from the door handles and the sculptures to a chair that emulates the sign for sit and a touch screen that follows hand movements. Part museum, part social hall, the centre boasts a large collection of paintings by deaf artists and interactive displays from cartoons and children's stories to puppet shows. There's also a fully functional kitchen for cooking classes and shelves and benches everywhere, so deaf people can put their drinks down while chatting. And that's just downstairs. One floor up are the offices, complete with widescreen video conferencing for meetings and walls of windows so that co-workers can communicate directly. And with more, I'm joined by Joanne Cripps and Anita Small in Toronto. They are the co-directors of the Deaf Culture Centre. And I can tell you, Anita will be translating Joanne's answers, and a second translator is helping Joanne understand my questions. So, Joanne, let me begin with you. Tell me what deaf culture is.
Across Canada, there are a variety of vibrant cultures, and deaf culture is part of those. It celebrates deaf life. It reveals that we have a language, art, identity, community, our heritage, norms.
You mentioned art, and I know art is a significant part of the centre and of your life. Tell me about Devia, what that is.
Devia is Deaf View Image Art. It is the art created by deaf people that incorporates the experience of deaf people. And it tends to have vibrant colors, texture, contrasting colors, and represent the norms and values of the deaf community.
Joanne, tell me what this centre means to you. What's the significance of it for you and for other people that are deaf?
It's important for the community because this place is where we can develop our identity, our heritage, our community, our film, theater, all of the arts, and to pass on a legacy for the next generation.
And what about the centre's role with, non-deaf people? Can people come to the centre and learn more about it? Can people come to the centre and learn more about sign language?
Yes, the centre is a place where hearing individuals can come and understand about the deaf community and learn about the deaf community, not from the outside in, but from the inside out, from the perspective of the deaf community.
Well, I imagine cities and towns right across this country will be looking at this centre very closely because it would probably be the envy of those in the deaf community across the country.
Yes, the centre is a place that is it's the first one in Canada and actually internationally, and is a place where individuals can come from all over the world as well as across the country to learn about the centre and about the community.
Joanne and Anita, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now it's over to Marcy with a look at some new high-tech DVD.
And we do have Jen at the Live Eye. Jen, it was a panic.
Goodness.
It was a panic. They said, oh, we don't have Jen. I said, well, then what do I talk about? Myself? I can't possibly fill all this time talking
We can talk about you.
No. So tell us again, where are you? I love the Distillery District.
The Distillery District is beautiful.
It is.
Just everything about it. Liza got married here right next door to the Deaf Culture Centre, and it was absolutely gorgeous. We're in the Deaf Culture Centre, and it is in the Distillery District. It's new, Catherine. It's only been open for a month now. And this is where deaf people celebrate deaf life, and hearing people can come and learn about deaf life as well. So they have something for both deaf and hearing. And what they're doing right now, what they're going to be doing every 6 months, is they're going to be having a different exhibit. So right now they have an art exhibit going on. So we're going to take a look at different artisans. I'm going to learn some sign language. Hello, I've learned that already this morning. Do you know any sign language? Ever learned sign language?
None that I can show on television. Yeah. But
I already asked them about that this morning. Apparently that's a very common question, you know.
Yeah. It's universal, isn't it?
Signs. It is kind of universal, but we're going to be learning different kinds of signs. And this is a great place. They even have cooking classes, so you can come here for a cooking class, and it's for hearing and deaf. So it's pretty cool.
Excellent. So we'll catch up with you a little later. I didn't get an invite to Liza's wedding.
Oh,
but
you
I'm
didn't?
Well, I'm okay with it, though.
It's probably got lost in the mail.
I'm sure it did.
And you know what? You missed a really good wedding. It was great.
Really? Open bar? Was it open bar?
Of course. She's not cheap.
Excellent.
Or
all right.
frugal.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll check in with you a little bit later. And right now we're going to...
Good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone. We're at the Deaf Culture Center this morning in the Distillery District, and this is Joanne Cripps, and she is the co-executive director. Adele is an ASL English interpreter, and she's going to be doing the interpreting this morning. Good morning, Joanne.
Good morning. Hello.
Please tell me about the Deaf Culture Center.
The Deaf Culture Center is an exciting place. It's an opportunity for deaf people to develop a sense of their culture, personal growth, art, their expression. It's a place to celebrate deaf life. So when people come in, it's a place that reveals their own language, their culture, their heritage, their norms, and their identity.
You have exhibits that go on here. They'll change every 6 months. Tell me about the exhibit that's going on right now.
Right now, we have an international exhibit from deaf artists across the world, from Quebec, from Iran, from England. And the exhibits change every 6 months. And the next one will be deaf native artists exhibiting their work in the fall.
Thank you very much, Joanne. Now, Adele, I'm going to take you with me, and we're going to go around because Anita Small is standing by, and she is the other executive director. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so I'm going to set Adele up here. So Adele, why don't you step over to the side there. Now tell me about Map the Movements of Your Hands. What is this?
Map the Movements is how we show sign language through space. It's not a written language. So how do you capture it? So here's an example. And it shows the different hand shapes that you make that create meaning. But it's not only the hand shape that makes a difference, it's also the direction. So you get a different color as you change direction. Also your palm orientation changes meaning. You can use the same hand shape and create all different meanings. Like I could use the 5 hand shape and I could do fire. People coming in, there's a fire. Oh, let's say they're coming in, they're mingling around, they're chatting, there's a fire, and then they all run out.
So you're just using your fingers, your hands.
One hand shape, but all different meanings. So it's a very complex language.
Thank you very much. We're going to find out more about the language when we come back to the Deaf Culture Center. We'll see you in just a bit. Thank you very much, Adele. Thank you, Anita.
Thank you.
We're coming up, Jen, Mike, check.
Good morning. We are back at the Deaf Culture Center this morning. They have an exhibit that changes every 6 months. There's an art exhibit going on right now, and I am here with Vanessa Vaughn, and she is an artist, and also Adele, who's standing right behind me, and she is the ASL English interpreter. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell me about your artwork.
It's called Harmony Over Dissonance. It's about the social, political, and movement between the different aspects of the deaf community, the oral deaf community, the signing deaf community, deaf culture, But the hope is that there is all the people come together in harmony as we work together. And that's what this Deaf Culture Center is all about. And it's thrilled that my exhibit is here and for its opening. Like, it's wonderful to have the Deaf Culture Center here. I feel that I have a community where my art can be shown and represented and develop those relationships with other deaf artists where we can learn from one another and share ideas. So I'm very excited about the opening of the Deaf Culture Center.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. That's wonderful. Well, we are here at the Deaf Culture Center, which is in the Distillery District. We're going to head right over here, and we are going to go to the other co-executive director, Anita. Good morning. You have lots of different art pieces here. Tell me about this one right here.
Yes, this one by Uzi Buscalo is a great example of what we call DeVia art, which is deaf view image art that incorporates deaf experience. And this piece is based on Uzi's experience as an Israeli deaf boy growing up in Jerusalem during the Six-Day War, where all of the children were brought to a bomb shelter, and it was completely dark except for a candle in the middle of the bomb shelter, where all the deaf children huddled and signed around the candle. So you see them signing around the candle. There are the hands, and we have it exhibited with a place where you can see shadows. So just like they played with the shadows of their signing,
see the
kids
shadows.
can come here and play with the shadows of their signs and their movements through space.
Very nice. Well, we'll find out more about the Deaf Culture Center when we come back. And thank you very much, Adele, for being our interpreter this morning. We're going to take a break, and we'll see you when we come back to the station. Thank you very much. Thanks, Anita. So celebrating out there today. Have a good one, and we'll see you when we come back just after the break to the Deaf Culture Center. Good morning. We are back at the Deaf Culture Center. It's a new center that's opened here in the Distillery District. A lot of history here. What a beautiful, beautiful building. And I am here with Sheldon Levitt, and he is from Quadrangle Architects. And you were inspired for this space. The City TV building inspired you.
Yes, when the Deaf Culture Center came to us, they had a very ambitious program. They wanted to celebrate this space with a range of ages from children to adults, hearing and non-hearing people, and it was also to be a space used by children's groups coming through, right up to having major exhibits and very elegant cocktail parties.
Now, it's a very small space, if we can take a look over here, and yes, during the day lots of school groups coming in, but sometimes at nighttime you want to have this as sort of a party room.
That's right. What we did was we used the walls, the permanent walls that surround the space for the permanent fixtures in the permanent exhibition, the reception area, kitchen display area in the far corner. And the central exhibit space has been designed to be intriguing and to be a stimulating walkthrough, but everything is hung from rails, and it can all actually be lifted and removed so that the center becomes a great big event space and a fun loft, cool downtown party venue.
Okay, it's pretty cool upstairs as well. We're going to let our camera person Gate go in front of us. The offices are upstairs, and you've done some pretty neat things, and you've kept some things as well. You didn't want to destroy things, so let's go upstairs. And as we can see, this is a little area here where you have deafplanet.com.
This is a TV programming space that's been designed. It can also all be removed and become exhibit space. Adjacent to it is a large boardroom that can also be a teaching area.
And I just wanted everybody to take a look at this right in here. This is what I mean, that you kept some of the history. Tell me about this right here.
On the ledges, we're in a building that's over 150 years old. It was the major distillery function area, and this is a thick lead paint that was on the ledges of the building, and over the decades and decades, workers had inscribed their names. The lead is, of course, toxic, and the names are historically interesting, and so what we did was we encased it, we protected the lead from the people and people from the lead with this beautiful glass ledge. Ledges are also very important to the deaf community, and it's a theme throughout the whole space because they need to put their things down on it.
Papers,
so that
pens, cups, so they can sign.
So that they can talk with their hands.
Thank
That's
you
right.
very much. It's beautiful. We're going to head back to the station, and we'll see you when we come back at the Deaf Culture Center. Good morning, Catherine. Good morning, everyone. We are back at the Deaf Culture Center. It's a new center that's in the Distillery District, and you can actually take signing here. So this is very exciting. I'm going to find out a little bit about signing right now from Joanne Cripps, and she is the co-executive director. Adele is behind me, and she is the interpreter this morning. So let's talk about sign language and how it's used in baseball.
It is. Sign language first was developed at the residential schools for the deaf as children got together and developed their own language. There is a pro-deaf baseball player, William Hoy, who is a fantastic player, playing in the big leagues. But he couldn't understand the umpires, so he taught them sign language, the sign for strike 1 and 2, using the left hand to indicate the number of balls, and then to indicate someone was out. And so it shows that deaf people do contribute to society and have done so in the past as well.
And this is how it became a standard signing in baseball.
And it's still used today. I suggest you watch the next pro baseball team on television. You can find that out for yourself.
Okay, we have a puppet here. Tell me about this puppet.
I can. Forrest Nickerson, a co-founder of the Canadian Culture Society of the Deaf, CCSD, called this a signing puppet. So, would you like me to teach you sign language, Jennifer?
Yes. I don't know how to say yes.
So, how are you?
How are you? Okay.
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Great.
Great. So teach me something else. Keep going.
Okay. What's your name?
And then I would say Jennifer.
And you can just do this.
Now,
Jennifer, you'd finger spell your name.
I'd finger spell the name.
We could just indicate, here we are, J-E-N-N-I-F-E-R.
J-E-N-N-I-F-E-R.
Jennifer.
Jennifer, how do you say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you to everybody at the Deaf Culture Center. Thank you. Thank you.